Hey guys, what's up? This is Tridib, and you are watching a live and exclusive live session of Figma as well as Adobe XD. So this is just giving back to my subscribers who have been extremely nice and kind, and they have actually reached our channel's subscriber base to 10K this Diwali. So I am just so happy that I wanted to do this live session absolutely free of cost for all of you guys, and so that you guys can have a fantastic idea of the giants, two big giants, Figma and Adobe XD. And I think there are very few videos in YouTube we actually cater to both the YouTube as well as Figma. So you can understand this is a 1 hour session. So I don't think so I will be able to cover a lot of stuff over there, but definitely I will share some really relevant things that you can actually have in both the Adobe XD as well as in Figma. Okay, so let us open a fantastic screen over here. So let's see our screen. Fantastic. And let me just open up a amazing screen where we have both the giants, the Figma as well as Adobe XD, right in front of where they are coexisting together, right? So there are many people, they have a lot of issues that now why Adobe has acquired Figma, and now Figma will have the natural death and all these things, all speculations going on. But I think with the acquisition, Figma will be much more stronger, and we have to see, we have to wait and watch what Adobe does with Adobe XD. But definitely Figma will be ruling for quite some time now. So first we will start quickly with Adobe XD, some of the fantastic stuff that you can do with Adobe XD. So let's open up a new file, and the first thing that I want to show you over here is how you can import videos in Adobe XD. So because these are the certain things that makes a differentiator. Nowadays even Figma has the capability of importing some videos. So with file, I will just go to import and say I take this video which I have downloaded from Envato Marketplace. I am a logical subscriber from Envato Marketplace, and I click on this thing. So I have to reduce this thing to 720p because sometimes 1920 by 1080p does not work very fine in Adobe XD. So I import this thing. See, the video has been imported very nicely over here. So over here, if I want it as 720p, I can just keep it as 720p. Even I can add a lot of playback things over here. So it is by default, it is play on tap, but I will just click play automatically, and even I can resize it to full screen. And if I just hit the play, interactive play over here, we'll see the video is working perfectly. So here's the video, it is working perfectly in your screen. Okay, great. So now the basic difference of Adobe XD and Figma is that Figma has frames, Adobe XD has artboards. So over here, if I click on this, there are a lot of sizes as we have seen in Figma. Same thing over here. There are a lot of sizes that we can see over here, and we can just pick up any one that we want from here. Okay, so by default a 1920 size window opens up, so you can always have these things. Okay, so let us quickly try and create some fantastic stuff that we can really do in Adobe XD. Say for example, let us create a preloader animation over here. So basic difference of Adobe XD and Figma is that Figma has auto animate, and Adobe XD has smart animate. So say let's see, I create a circle over here. I give say 24, tap over there, super speed, right? we'll go 0 and we'll cap it to say 9999. Enter. This is vanished. Okay, it has not vanished anywhere, so just I will put 12 over here just for the sake of understanding where my circle has is starting. I click on the text icon over here and click over here and just type in 1. We'll start with a 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 over here. And I will change the font size to say something around 45. Maybe that will be a better one. And I will also make it bold. Okay, great. I will also have another one over here, and over here I will again click on 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Great, awesome. So over here I will zoom a bit, and I will take a rectangle box over here. Awesome. And with these two still selected, I will right click over here and mask with shape. So all these things are over here, it is masked. And over here I will do the same thing. I will create a rectangle box over here and select this plus this mask together, right click, mask from shape. So these things I will again go back to dash as 0, enter. Now quickly I will go to my artboard, copy this artboard, alt shift red, and within the same thing I will just this one also. I will go inside this and just take this. Awesome. And again go inside this, take it to 99 out there. Amazing. I'm doing things quick and dirty, so don't think too much about the how good it looks and all these things. So in Figma, the prototype and all these buttons are on the right hand side. In Adobe XD, it's the left hand side. So I will just click on this and click on the second one to interlink these two artboards and see how I animate these things. So over here in trigger, I will just use time. So after say, and also over transitions I will put automate. So as soon as this thing loads, okay, this say for example after delay of 1 second, this animation will start. I will put it easy in, ease out, auto animate in over here, and then we will put the duration to say 0.3 second. That is okay. Okay, ease in, ease out, and let's see what happens over here. I just click on the play button. Wow. So I will just delay the this thing to say 5 seconds over here. Point 0 second and enter. So if I click on this thing now and see how it happens. Wow, our preloader is ready. Quick. Isn't this amazing? Yes. Bet it is. Now let us see some fantastic components that we can create in Adobe XD. Very easy, quick and dirty. Let's see. I create a rectangle like this, drag the corners, still it becomes a curved one. Let me create a toggle button over here. First thing first, I will just give some color over here in this field. Awesome. I will click on the circle. Lovely. Select both these things and right click and say component. You can also press Ctrl K in your keyboard. So this is a component. What is the advantage of component? That you can use this object now, use this component across all your screens without getting changed in every screen. But obviously you can see, if you just drag this thing, it becomes a child component. So if you change the color over here to something green, it only changes in the child component. But if I change the parent component, if I go over here and change it to blue, now wherever you are dragging this thing, it is always a blue component. Okay, it is always a blue component. See, all the childs of this component got changed. Okay, so let us now see how we can create a toggle button over here. I will click on this and see over here. By default, Adobe XD gives you all the states of a button, but in many cases for Figma you have to create the component from scratch. So I will have a hover state where I will just need to change the color of this background. So I will make it a little bit darker over here. Lovely. And I will create the toggle state. That means when it is clicked, what happens? When it's clicked, you have to see where you are. So in the toggle state, you have to go inside these and shift it to the other side. Okay, so your this component is ready. Now we have to just go and play it and see what happens. So this is by default state. I go roll over or hover, it changes its colors. I click on it, it goes the other side. Lovely, isn't it? It is so damn easy creating components in Adobe XD. But all said and done, with Figma, you can create multi-variant components, multi-level of components, and you can create as much as complex components that you can have. Okay. So another thing is that if you want to create color, you want to create some color guidelines, you want to create design system, you can just have this button clicked over here. So all the colors in this particular artboard gets added over here. See all these colors from this artboard. If I used any font over here, all these things comes in the character styles. So if I say header 1, okay, and then another one I create over here as header 2. So guys, if you want to ask question, please ask questions. So somebody has asked me what is the link. They are all in LinkedIn, YouTube, and in Facebook. You can directly go and go to the session screen. So let's come back to this screen. So headed 1, I can actually make it say 72 over here. Headed 2, I just make it as say 45, 56. So if I select these two things, if I have the web, our this particular artboard selected, you can just click on here and you will see that it has already taken say one 72 pixel 72 points, and this thing the header 2 as 56 points. So you can create the entire design system over here. Amazing, right? Also, there are a lot of things that adds up to Adobe XD. So if you see, you can go to the plugin section. There are so many plugin sections that you have over here. So if I click on Lottie files, so okay, let's go to some other plugin. Lottie needs an update at this point of time. So let's forget about that. Let's see, you can have a lot of icons over here. So say for example, you have back icon, back, you can just say previous or back. There's so many back icons over here. You can just drag it over here in this particular screen. So see, in this corner it comes usually, so you can make it bigger. Okay, you can also have next icon, and you can navigate next. So you can just select this thing and put it. So you see that not all the icons will be same. It has a curved corner, it has a straight corner. So you can either go inside this and you can select and change the rough corners out of here. Totally depends upon whether it is a fill or it is a line. So if it is a line, you cannot do it in that way. Okay, so what we can do, you can just take this and you can reflect it in the other direction, so that you can get both the icons are the same size and same shape. Okay, so this is basically the pen tool, the same pen tool that you have used in your various other softwares of Adobe. It's the same one. So only the thing is that you have to use shift instead of alt. So you can do it like this. Okay, if you really want to create a lot of blobs and all these things, there are fantastic plugins. So you can create randomized blobs over here with complexities, uniqueness. Okay, awesome. And you can just click on the blob and your blob is ready. So it is very important to have your arsenal very strong. You have to have a lot of plugins over here so that you can create fantastic design over here. So if you want faces, you can create a lot of faces out there with you can just create, say for example, a rectangle over here, and you can create a lot of faces out there. You say unsplash.com and click on select photos. So you just have to click on this and apply. This particular image already had this image over here. So with a lot of plugins, you can create a lot of things over here. You can go and use effects. You can have inner shadow, say for example 12 pixel by 12 pixel. You can have drop shadows, which is say 12 over here. You can have, so you can have fantastic drop shadows over here, and lot many things. The another good thing that I can show you over here is that how to create glass morphisms sort of things. So if I just have a circle over here, say for example, there are two ways I can blur it. I can have the background as blur. So wherever the circle floats, it has a blurred background. Okay, and you can have if you want, you can have object blur where these object becomes blur. Okay, so these are the two things that you can always interchange and you can see. Okay, so great. Any questions so far, guys? Please ask me if you are really interested in getting some of your doubts cleared. So the session is live on LinkedIn. The session is live on YouTube. The session is live on. Getting some of your doubts clear. Any questions you have so far, please ask. I can see a lot of people joining still. So we have covered a lot. If you have missed the thing, don't worry. You can always have the recorded live things for you guys. It's fantastic for. So all these images you can get right from Pixels, random users, Unsplash. Very nice things that you can. And it is not about only creating in circles or rectangles. You can also create in various other shapes also. You can even have image inside a blob. So I just click on this lady, apply, and see it has already taken this thing. So understand that this thing that it is extremely important, so you can just scale it how much you want of that particular image to appear inside the mask. So it's basically get mask inside a particular shape. So I have covered almost everything over here. I have covered your auto animate and all these things. Now let's hop back to our Figma. So before I jump into Figma, guys, any questions do you have for Adobe XD? So obviously Adobe XD is not free. It comes with the subscription of Adobe Creative Cloud. So you can ask any questions. I'm waiting to get your questions. Anyone? Any question? Guys, it is available in LinkedIn as well as it is available in YouTube and Facebook. So wherever you are logging in, please ensure that you don't miss the thing, and you can go on asking me as much of questions as possible. So someone is trying to spam the entire thing. So absolutely, please stop these things because there are a lot of important questions that people might ask. Don't start spamming the live session. If you have thousands of questions, I'm ready to answer it, but please don't spam. Okay. One thing only I couldn't show it because link lottie files needed update at this point of time. I don't want to waste your time in update session. So let's quickly jump to our Figma. Okay, guys, many of you guys are waiting eagerly to see Figma also in action. Figma has come up with certain new things which I will try to also cover in this particular session. So the first thing first we find in a blank screen of Figma is that there is a tool at the top, which vis-a-vis we had the tools and the prototype and all these things in Adobe XD. So if you can compare these things, these two stuffs over here, so you can see that the all the tools are also, design tools are also in the left hand side, and in Figma it is in the top bar. Okay, so basically if you see that more or less they have common things over here, they have common things over here. So for all prototyping needs, all the prototyping tool has all the same type of tools. So whichever prototyping tool you take, it is of hardly any difference. Okay, so if I click on the frame, as I told, in Adobe XD we have more of, we have artboards, and in Figma we have frames. So I click on these frames and see in the right hand side we have all these particular resolutions that you can also see. Okay, so I click on say a desktop, and my 1440 by 1024 screen comes up. So that is the by default thing. So if you want to go for layout grids, which is also there in Adobe XD, I missed that. I didn't want to bore you for the basics things. You can always do. So I can click on the layout grids, and in the grid I select columns, and by default it is a the 5 count columns. I can always, for basically for the desktop mode, it's usually 12 count columns, and we can have it as a center, or you can have it as a stretch. So I will just put it in the center for the time being, and width I will put 72 over here, and gutter space 20. So this is your layout grid that you can always follow, you can use, and you can go on creating your stuffs over there. So it is basically like this. You go on creating stuffs like this. So if you want to see how to manipulate the layout, you can go and check my video on YouTube, which is already there, where I have explained layout in detail. Okay, so like this you can create the screens. Also understand one thing over here, you can have the auto layout, which I will be coming very soon. Okay, I will explain in this particular thing. So what is the basic difference of Figma and Adobe XD? So Adobe XD does not have auto layout. There component creation is very straightforward, very simple, whereas the Figma component creation is complex, but you can achieve a lot of stuff through Figma. Okay, so let us first try to create a liquid toggle switch component. Let us try to create these things. I usually ask my students to create using frames. Okay, so I create a small frame like this. I will go over here and say I can create it as 80. Let me fill it with the color. Lovely. Awesome. These are very basic bare minimum thing that you require for this thing. And you can create an ellipse. Even you can use the frame tool to create this thing. So now a trick I will show you, which is very good in fact. So you can have it like this and reduce the size of the toggle. Okay, so I have this thing. Great. Now simply I will shift control alt K, we turn it into a component. Okay, now what? Now we will create some variants of the component. So I click on these properties out there, click on these, click on variants, and the variants options. See, a dotted boundary has come over here. You click like 4 of them, because I want to create some liquid animation over here. Over here, I will go and I will just stretch this thing a little bit like this. Okay, I will keep this one. I will double click on this, take it to the other side, and double click on this, take it to the other side, and also stretch it a bit. Lovely. So my 4 states are ready. Now simply I have to go over there. I see the prototype, design, and inspect is in the right hand side over here. I go and interaction. So I click on this and I link to the second variant. What I will say that on click, you just need to change to variant 2 and smart animate while you do that thing. Okay, so you change to second variant, and this to this I will have an auto movement auto. So this to this will change automatically, I need not to click. Okay, so delay after 1 second, 1 millisecond I will do, and over here say I put it as say 5, and ease in ease out is my favorite, so I will put it like this. And over here the last one, I click on this, this will also be automated when clicked. Okay, so on click change to this particular thing. Okay, if I click on this it will change to this. Okay, uh, and great, smart enemy, see automatically just already taken my last this thing. And from here to here, sorry, from here to here it will automatically go again, not on click but after delay of 1 millisecond. Change to this. Now let's see how it works. I will go to the asset panel. So as I told, it's a little bit complex in that way. I will drag this component. So now all the states, why it is very important to understand this thing, because all the states has come into one particular component. So it has all the possible states of this particular component that I have created. So now in the prototype, I will click on display. This is a very bugging thing of Figma, in the sense it always renders. But if you have seen in XD, as soon as I click on a particular scene, it immediately renders over there. So see, I click over here, it changes into a liquid shape and then goes in. Lovely, isn't it? So you can have a small animations over here for small toggle switches like this. Great. So what we have learned? We have learned how to create components. Any questions so far, guys? Any questions from anybody? Any questions, guys? Okay, let's now let me go to the next thing, which is let us create auto layout. Why auto layout is very important? Because it makes your life much easier if you have created your entire layouts with auto layout format. Let us create and see a simple button. Let us name it submit. Okay, and let me change the size to 20 for the sake of um, visibility. I click on submit. Awesome. And then a simple one small thing you have to do for to make this particular text to an auto button. Shift and A, press shift and A and see auto layout added. So your entire this button has converted into a auto layout button. So I will put a fill color. So I will now take a different color. You might be bored with the same damn color that I'm using always. And what I will do, I will put this text right at the center. So click on this. Okay, awesome. Now I will increase the button size a little bit so that you can all see it. Now over here, if you see, they are the padding. So by default, from 10 padding, I can drag it to a 20 thing. You can also put it over here like 20. Okay, great. Similarly, here also you can move this thing to 20. If it is not, you can go and put it as 20. Awesome. So these two sides has 20/20 padding, the top has 10/10 padding. Okay, and by default I can also go over there and say 20 pixel border corner radius. I can put it over here. Now what is the magic we have done over here? So if it is not an auto layout, if I would have typed something over here, the entire button structure would have broken. So now what I will do, if I say submit and button over here, see what happens. The button size increased automatically without it is getting broken. Okay, now let us see if I want to add an icon over here. So right click over here. I have a plethora of icons over here already. So saved icons, I will just go to iconify and say for example this iconify, and I just check this submit button from here. Color is white. Okay, I will keep it black for the time being. The reason is it might get lost in this white on white. And once it is done, I say import icons. Okay, so what this icon, the icon always goes over there. Okay, so I have to bring it over here. So you have to first thing go over here in layout, and you have to check that if it is already been embedded in a frame or not. Ideally you should remove it from the frame. You should remove the group from the frame. So I have already done it, so I will remove the group. And now let's see, I will zoom the particular thing, and you can drag this icon and place it in front of the submit button. Amazing, right? You can also click on this and you can take it to the other side. Lovely. So you can have this button like this. Another thing you can do now, say have I want this button to be repeating to a lot of say I want this button a number of times. So I will just simply shift alt and say I will create like this. See, every time Figma gives you the grid so that you don't make mistakes in the distribution of this. So I will select all of them and press shift A. So now this all these things has become a um, auto layout in itself. Now if I put the horizontal direction, see all the buttons get aligned in a horizontal direction. If I put it the other way, it goes the other way. Also over here, if you see, um, I can change the left padding, right padding of all these things. Currently it is 0. I can put 32, 32, 32, 32. So all the padding equal among all the direction. You can change it now. It's totally up to you how you change it. You can drag it to change the padding, or you can use numerical values to change the padding. Lovely, isn't it? Great. So now your auto layout also we know the thing. Okay, so you can also put it in the right and the center. So put, you can also increase the this distance between the, okay, so this is also possible. Okay, lovely. So you can increase or decrease the size of the icon also based on the size of button you have designed. Okay, and even you can change the stroke color to change it to white. Okay, so this is your auto layout. So auto layout also has some other things that we can check. Okay, so I have just used packed. I will show you how to even create the space between. Okay, so say for example, you have one sets of auto layout over here, and say the other set of auto layout you have, say over here, called, say I will put it as logo, say for example. Okay, and put shift A, so it has changed into an auto layout. I have a one set of auto layout over here. I have another set of auto layout over here. So I will just increase the size of the logo and I will put it to the center, right? So there is one auto layout this side, one auto layout this side. I will select all of them and I will create an auto layout. So if I just select all of them and try to drag it, see how this dragging happens. Okay. So the gap is not getting maintained over here. So I want this gap to be maintained. Okay, so what I will do, I will select both these things and I will create and shift a auto layout. Okay, so you will see by default it is packed. Now I will create a space between. So if I create space between, you will always see that the distance between this logo and this the icons or the navigation buttons on the other side is always maintained, so they are on the two sides of the layout. Okay, so this distance is always maintained. Okay, great. So we know how packed works and how space in between works. Okay, great. Okay, so guys, any questions so far? I will leave this session for open questions if you have any. Anyone have any questions? Guys, any questions? Let us also see a small animation so that you know how to create animation in Figma. So smart animation for Figma, auto animation for, so what I will do, I will change. So this is basically like this: top left, bottom right, and this thing, bottom left. So it goes like this. So I will put say 20 pixel over here, so you'll see only this thing goes. And then again 20 pixel over there, so these two are cornered over here. Okay, so if I have something over here and now I want that when I click on this section it will take full screen. Say for example, I will also have a small part over here. I will make it white. I will make this thing as sky blue, and so you can also create 12. So I want when I click on this thing, it will take a full screen and this thing also goes to the top. So I will select this, Shift Alt, frame 2. I will click on this, drag it to the top and take it to the top and scale it. Sorry, scale it to center. So these are the two states that I want. And if I click on this, it will again come back to the. So the first one, I will now go to the prototyping. Okay, and I can name this thing as a flow name, so only this flow will work, flow 1. I click on this and drag it to the second slide. Okay, on click of this particular white space, navigate to frame 10, which is this one, and smart animate is in and is out. You can also have a bouncy movement like this. Okay, so and on this, clicking on this, it should come to the first frame. Awesome. And it is also the bouncy one. So let's see, I click on this and I go to say the present. So see, lovely, and I click on this, it comes down. So with this type of things, you can create amazing mobile interactive micro animations like this. Okay, so it's all about two states, but always understand the two things should be the same one, which is getting reduced in size, changing of space, and all these things. Figma still cannot handle the colors in a much better. So if you want these things to be darker, say for example, I make it a darker this thing, it might not work. I will not say it will not work. It sometimes gives a transition over here, which is very awkward. So if I click on this, it just jerked itself into the second color. There is no smooth transition that is happening over here. Okay, so this is the thing. You can add as many as complexity. You can have a smaller image over here. Say for example, you click on this, put a ellipse over here, a small one over here. Sorry, always happens with me. So you click on this, and you can right click over here, go to plugins. I have a lot of saved plugins. I can just go to Unsplash, and I can just search for faces portrait. Okay, so I just click on this and this image comes over here. I will just drag these things and take it to the next one as well, and I can increase this thing like this. I can even put a stroke, white stroke. It can be 5 pixel. Even in this I can put a stroke of black with 1 2 pixels over there. So now see what happens if I click on this and play. So see, you click on this and these things comes in. So you can always fit to screen this thing, so that lovely, isn't it? So these type of micro animations you can always do, just for few seconds that we have. um, for those people who have attended this particular session, there are a lot of things I can give it to you guys. I have actually um, collected for you, which comes with so I have certain things for you guys. So there's a humongous amount of Adobe XD kit that I have downloaded for you guys, which are absolutely free. I can share it with you guys. So just send your email address. I can mail those things to you, or I can put it in a drive link. So there are, say for example, AEM components, core components, hand-drawn UI kit. Just see, this is amazing hand-drawn UI kit that you have in Adobe XD. See, all the UI kits are hand drawn. See, it gives a feeling of the rawness in it. I really, really love this particular UI kit. Okay, from Adobe. So you need not to use any other things. You can just create components out of it. You can create all sorts of components through it. Okay, there are humongous plethora of icons that you can use over here, and see all these things has this jagged edges, the rough cut edges, and all these things which are amazing, which are amazing to use. So all these things I can give it to you guys. Okay. And another, before leaving these things, I would like to share one particular plugin for those people who are just starting with Figma and finding it very difficult. You have a creative block. You can just go to a plugin and find more plugins over here and search over here for Figma to design. So there is a fantastic Figma to design plugin which most probably I already have. So it's, that's the reason it's not showing. Let's see. I think the name of the plugin, I'm making a mistake. HTML to design, I guess. Yes, HTML to design is the name of the plugin. Just click this one and run it. See what it does. It's an amazing thing. Say for example, I say I go to any site, say Dell, Dell Technologies site, Dell.com. Okay, I'll just copy this thing over here and I will go to Figma. I will put these things over here. Okay, and MacBook Pro version, perfect. I want a light theme, import to canvas, and you just sit and watch what it does. Okay, it failed to take the images out of there. Let us just check another one. Apple.com. I will say import. So let's see where it went. Lovely. So your entire Apple site is right in front of you, which you can just use it at any point of time. The Dale also worked, but it didn't give the images that we required. Okay, maybe the CDN from where the image was coming, it has some restrictions. So just click this and you can see all the everything over here is editable. Now that is the biggest part. So I go on clicking this and I say all new iPad, and over here you can see that you can change the text. You can change this. So everything, you can change the image, you can change the text out of there, and you can present this to your client. You can change. So this is, I feel somehow this is a little bit of cheating somewhere. So there's a thin line between getting inspired and getting this thing, but it will definitely give you the first starting point. So if you really want to have these layouts and all this, you can go on creating squares and rectangles over this, and your layout can be done like this. You can just, so we will just create square box over here. You can create square box over here. Likewise, the entire layout can be easily done. Okay, so you can have these things as a starting point, and you can go on doing your stuffs based on the background layer. You can lock that layer, and you can then put rectangles out of it to create the layouts. Okay, so guys, that's all for today. I also have a list of fantastic websites for you guys, which I can share in the drive and you can all access. So these are all basically free stuffs that you can use in your layouting or UI processes. Hope you have liked this particular video. If you are new to this channel, can you subscribe to my channel, Learn with Tridib, @Learn with Tridib, or in Facebook also it is come as Learn with Tridib. You can subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon if you want all the notifications of our upcoming updates. And if you really like this video, kindly add a like, share it if you want, and put some valuable comments so that we can make our live sessions much better. So with all these thoughts, goodbye and God bless.